Hello, everybody, and welcome, and we're back to the Graves Mistake Podcast. I'm your one host, Starch.
I'm the other host, Justin.
All right, and today we're going to be talking about M. Night Shyamalan's Trap, a horror movie that I don't think is good at all and doesn't count in the horror genre.
You know the butcher? The freaking nut job that goes around just chopping people up? Well, the feds or whatever heard that he's gonna be here today, so they set up a trap for him. This whole concert, it's a trap.
All right, now that we're done with that, start us off with a little synopsis of the movie, and then we'll get right into it.
Alright, synopsis of the movie. We have our main character, Cooper, played by Josh Hartnett. He's going to a concert with his daughter, Riley. They're going to go see Lady Raven. But the concert is a ploy to find this murderer who so happens to be our main character, and he's getting trapped. So that's the namesake of the movie. So we're just seeing how he interacts with everybody and how it's going to go.
Oh, yeah, so essentially our serial killer friend is getting set up by the police and a psychologist written straight out of Silence of the Lambs. So, man, okay, there's a lot to go into here. Just to start off, Justin, brief reactions. I'll let you go first. Right after you walked out of the theater, how did you feel about the film?
Okay. I can immediately tell as soon as the movie started, within the first joke, that it was like a dark comedy. Also, I guess I don't consider this a horror movie. This is more of like a thriller at best, like a thriller comedy, which is a weird combination. But overall, I enjoyed it. I know obviously it had some faults in there, like here and there, but it was highly enjoyable. Josh Hartnett really makes the movie. His facial expressions are hilarious. It is just 10 out of 10. Loved it. Oh, not loved it. Well, I loved him. All right, how about you?
10 out of 10 has got to be diabolical. So let me start off with saying Google states that this movie is a horror mystery, so we can fuck off with the thriller title automatically. It's pissing me off. So I'm significantly not a fan of M. Night Shyamalan for the most part when it comes to his movies. I did like Knock at the Cabin a little bit, but I didn't know this movie was directed by him, which is actually a recurring did I? I can't remember. There's a recurring motif of me going to see a movie, not liking it, and then finding out at the end it was directed by M. Night Shyamalan. I will say, when I walked out of the theater, I went, that movie's a strong 7, I think. Maybe. And then I thought about it longer and longer and longer, and I was like, oh, actually, this movie's terrible. I don't like it at all.
You got it right the first time, but
no, not even. So, okay, now let's get into the actual bits of the movie that we liked. I will say, starting off, we started off strong. I liked the atmosphere a lot. The serial killer character, who is very obviously going to, is the killer they're setting up for, played by Josh Hartnett. I love Cooper. You're right. His facial expressions were absolutely amazing because, every single thing he reacts to, his eyes don't move, but his, facial muscles do, so he's really playing off that sociopath, psychopath.
His delivery, insane.
Yes, and so, he's got his daughter, and they're going to the concert, and I'm like, okay, boom. So, the first act kind of goes by really quickly. Like before we know it, we're introduced to our favorite character, my favorite character, the vendor, played by Jonathan Langdon. So he's like, hey, man, why are all the police here? And he's like, I don't know, if you've ever met a guy like this before, but it's the person that's kind of just, super friendly and ready to just immediately meet their best friend for the first time.
Tell you anything.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed this guy, his energy, a lot. I think, though, that this character should have had a lot more screen time because he's just like, bro, the cops are here. They trying to catch what do they call him? The Butcher? Is that his serial killer name?
The Butcher, yeah, the Butcher.
Yes. I'm like, okay, so we're getting into it. It's going to be like a John Wick style horror movie where he's killing guards and getting past people, but that's not what happens. So how did you feel about the first act of the film in regards to how they kind of set up the fact that he's the killer and the police are setting up and there's a psychologist, blah, 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 blah?
I kind of liked how we see him. He is he notices a lot of things, and then he finds out. He sees guards. He sees men being taken away and asked questions and have flashlights pointing in their face, and he's like, "What's going on?" And then eventually he meets up with old boy. He tells him, but Him just talking to anybody, man, it was just making me crack up. Especially his daughter, because he'd be like, "Hey, Riley, are you excited to see Lady Raven?"
Oh.
Dude.
Oh yeah, it was like completely fabricated energy.
Yeah. But like this person like also loves his daughter and his family. It's a really weird like serial killer. I'm not sure what the archetype is, if you know what I mean. Like people who can kill but still like have these families that they love, quote unquote.
It reminds me of a mafia trope where like Tony Soprano or like some
Oh
other
yeah.
like Italian mob guy would like go home and his wife's like, "Why are you out late again? You never home. You don't tell us what's happening." And he's like, "I work in construction." You know, he just won't tell his family what's going on.
Garbage collection.
Yeah, oh, garbage collection. Yeah, it's just like I work for the union. The union calls, I answer. I don't know what to tell you. No, I think I think Josh Hartnett really set up the stage on this one. I initially thought that the plot of the movie was going to be that that Cooper had a secret obsession with Lady Raven, and that his like ultimate goal was going to hyperfixate on her and then kill her. Like I thought that was going to be the thing. It's like, how does a serial killer actually commit a murder while they're hunting for him? I think so. After we get to the vendor's like, "Yo, man, like, you know, they kill her on the loose. Like, they trying to catch this guy." And he's like, "Oh, for real? Thanks." And he has no idea that he's talking to Ted Bundy, which I think is funny because, like, I feel like that's some dumb shit like anybody would do. They're like, "There's no one even talking to the killer right now, right?"
It felt so real though, honestly, because that's what would happen. Like, obviously, he's gonna be there, and someone's gonna talk to him, and so I happen to be that guy. So.
And it happened to be that guy. And it all started because his daughter, like, he was like, "Oh, let me just go get you some merch." And I like when he returns back to the auditorium that his daughter, like, can actually tell when he's being too disingenuine, you know? She's like, "Why are you acting so weird?" Because he's like, "Let's go, let's do this. Like, are you enjoying yourself?" And she's like, "Dude, like, Dad, like, why are you, like, bugging out right now?"
Yeah.
And then
especially when like the scene where I want to say somebody comes up from the ground next to them and he's like, "Hey, you want to go down there? That looks fun down there."
Yes. It's like one of the performers just elevates from the floor, and he's like, "Wouldn't it be so cool if we just like trespassed?" So yeah, I did enjoy that. I will say that like this is a comedy. Like if I didn't anticipate this to be a horror movie, I'd still hate it. But it like I was laughing at certain parts of the movie.
Oh, see, within a couple seconds, I'm like, "Oh, this is a funny movie." They kind of switched.
I think it's funny, but I think it wasn't really set up to be like exclusively a comedy. Also, the trailer of the movie set it up to be a horror movie. So I'm like, dude, we're like 30 minutes into this short-ass movie. It's like an hour and 45 minutes. We haven't killed a single person. So, I like that he did pull out his Ring camera to look at the victim that he had tied up in the basement. That was pretty funny. I was like, okay, there's no way you just did this in public, but sure. So moving on from that point, so he eventually gets the decision because I think his daughter or someone provides like some like juicy plot details about the fact that Lady Raven always calls like a fan on stage to like, you know, shuck and jive.
Oh, what is it called to be the dreamer girl?
Yeah, it's like some classic concert stuff. And this is almost at the time where I realized the true intent of the movie, which is my grand conspiracy. So of course, like, you know, Cooper manipulates the audience. What does he tell them? He tells like
in the worst way, dude. It's like, "Oh, you know, my daughter has leukemia, so can she she loves Lady Raven? Could she be Dreamer Girl?"
Oh yeah, you know, he meets M. Night Shyamalan, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but the guy
that was him.
Yes,
oh my God, I think it was.
So the second I saw his face, I was like, shenanigans. So yeah, so M. Night Shyamalan, the director, pretends to be or is acting as like the manager for Lady Raven. He's like, "Yeah, my daughter got, you know, she got the stage 4. What a toughie." And he's like, "You know what? We do an act of kindness." Yeah, and so he gets his daughter, unbeknownst to her, as the Dreamer Girl, and they go up on the stage. But like, this is the thing that pisses me off because I immediately recognize that this movie is just a goddamn advertisement. It is an hour and 45-minute ad for his M. Night Shyamalan's daughter's singing capabilities. The whole movie, it's like 3 sets. It's real 4-minute songs the whole time. Cooper is standing on stage watching Lady Raven perform the entire fucking song. So I was like, holy shit, I'm at a real concert. I've been scammed, duped, $20 out of my pocket so that way I can see this person sing. This is absurd.
All right, everybody. I disagree with this entirely. When I watched this movie, I did not think about the songs. They were playing, but it did not make me go look at this girl's music. I'm sure she's a fine singer. I did not know this was M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. Nothing drove me to the music. I was more invested in the story.
I don't know how. Me, Cooper, and the rest of the audience was just literally standing backstage watching the entire real concert take place. I was like, okay, so there's a little bit of music happening. Oh, well, let's get to the next scene. But instead, I was greeted with the entire song. I was like, oh, I can see through the lies now. So then, after we speed through that absolute horseshit and deception, I'm already pissed off by this point. So I'm like, let's get to some murder action. So he's like, okay, genius play here. Now we gotta get me and my daughter backstage, and then they can sneak us out in like, you know, in Lady Raven's like private limo or some shit. And that's when we see Kid Cudi's best performance he's done in the past 20 years besides X, where he just like, you know, flips the fuck out. I don't know, man. Like, I can't even like conceive why this movie by this point.
He also hits on Josh Hartnett.
He does, right? That's funny. Yeah. He like turns around and gives him the eyes, and he's just kind of like, Which honestly, I thought that I would not be surprised with the way this movie is going if Cooper's character was just like, yeah, like honestly, I think this is how I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna flirt with Kid Cudi so that way, like, my daughter and I can escape getting caught by the police. Underrated character is the psychologist, Dr. Josephine something.
You think so?
Yes, because she provides, in my opinion, answers that the audience is asking, or questions. She asks the questions the audiences are asking. It's like, well, why don't they do this or this? Like, you're telling me that they don't know anything about this guy. And she, like, you know, he's thinking of, it's a scene where he's thinking about how to escape, and then she comes on the radio, because by this point he's like knocked out a guard and taken the radio. She's like he's most likely currently considering ways to manipulate you.
That was crazy.
Yeah, he's most likely talked to you already or someone working in the facility, and he's learned that there's a way to escape through the back. And he's just
someone reading your exact psyche like that is insane. Like,
yes.
I cannot imagine how that feels.
Yes, and he was just frustrated at the fact that he had to like change his plans because of that. So that was pretty good. Oh, and then
okay, hold up.
Oh, go ahead.
One moment with that, like, I think she's outside a door or something, and she's talking, but there's no way she's talking this loud, but it seems like she is. I don't know if you noticed that. He's like outside of a doorway, and he's listening to her talk. But this is like a conversation she's having with somebody else, and it sounds like a full volume conversation that he's hearing.
Oh yeah, through like 3 concrete walls in a basement of a concert. Yeah, this is the shit I'm talking about. Like, what are we doing right now? You know. So like, so another thing I really like about the psychologist is the fact that the character doesn't really have any like point of existing other than just like reminding the audience that this person is getting pursued. She's kind of just a reminder that like the police presence is there. Other than that, the police suck. They stop like 30 random people. Also, we're going to get into this later when it comes to criticisms, but just like the efficiency of their plan is atrocious. So eventually we do end up getting to the third act of the movie where oh wait, hold on, we forgot the best scene. The vendor guy takes our man Cooper to the basement to get that t-shirt that he's been asking for the whole time, and he's just giving him more and more exposition. Oh, that's how he learns about like escaping through the back and all that. And he just
the passcode, right?
Yeah, the passcode. He tells him everything. He's like, you know what? I trust you, Cooper. And he hands the guy like a box cutter. Like he's just handing a killer the knife to kill him. So it's just so easy. Which kind of reminds me of this horrendous story. I don't remember what serial killer it was, and this is obviously half-assed, like memory from like an article that might not even exist, but there was like some serial killer that pulled up to a red light after committing a homicide, and they saw like an old man sleeping in their car at the red light, and he woke the guy up and was like, hey man, you shouldn't be like driving when you're sleepy like this, it's dangerous. And he like let the guy go. So I think that was kind of this moment where it's like, it's just too easy of a kill for the guy to feel good about it, you know. There's like ego involved.
Oh man, I actually never heard of that, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah man, so we kidnap Lady Raven, we take her to our house.
He gets like the confession of like, we finally see him, like hear him say something about it, and it's really weird because they're in the dressing room talking, and he's like, did you know that like this certain amount of like CO2 will kill somebody? And it's like, what is he talking about?
Oh yes,
I thought he was about to kill her there.
Yes, right. He threatens Lady Raven and is like, you will take my daughter and I to safety or you will get unalived. And I was like, oh, this is cool. This is what I've been waiting for. The classic third act of a slasher film where the final girl faces off against the killer and a bunch of people die in the process. No, what we actually get is in the car, Lady Raven's like, oh my gosh, can I come to your house, Riley? Can I see your home? And obviously Cooper's forced to be like, yeah, sure, pull up. So they go to the house, and immediately I'm like, okay, The family's involved. Everyone's posted up. They're just sitting there, and I'm thinking this is super easy. Like, just, hey, Lady Raven, it's time for you to go. We got to do this. But instead, she's like, let me go play the piano real quick for you. And then proceeds to play an entire full-length song on the piano, once again advertising her career as a musical artist, pissing me off for the 19th time in this film.
Okay, yes.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I guess that time would be more of one to, like, complain about, but honestly, like I said, I didn't even notice. I was just looking. It was such a tenseful scene because he's just freaking out in his head. Well, he's freaking out in his head, but he's stone cold face. It's really crazy.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I did feel a little bit of a, like, I don't know, I'd say, like, discomfort when he was recording her at the piano because he was just so close.
Oh, and he has the phone. Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, he like steals her phone to record it, and which is honestly like a solid play there. But then after a little while, the tension breaks, and then Lady Raven ends up running into the bathroom, and she's like, "Yeah, she's like, time to go on Instagram Live and tell everybody that I'm in this house." Okay, like we're gonna get into it, but I'm just like, okay,
this is possible, but go ahead.
Sure, right. So okay, and then he starts trying to like forcibly breach the door, and by this point his family's tweaking. He's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you trying to attack Lady Raven?
We see none of this. Yeah, it's just Lady Raven in the bathroom.
Yes. And then so Lady Raven uses her GeoGuessr fans to identify the whereabouts of this kid that's been locked into a basement, so that they rescue him, and then they're coming to save her. And so her current objective is just survive Halo Reach style. But it sounds like through the door that he murders his entire family.
It really does. Like we just hear back up, no,
yeah. And so you're like, oh, Cooper just committed like a familial, like, triple homicide. But what he actually did is I think he gently coerced them to go hide upstairs.
Yeah.
Like,
that had to be the case. Like, there's no other way.
Like, this movie's so ass. Yeah. So anyway, Lady Raven ends up getting out. Boom. Guards pull up. Don't even remember the last couple minutes of this movie because by this point I'm completely tuned out. How do you feel?
So like they save Lady Raven. I think all the family leaves the house, so it's just Josh in the house, and he's just fixing up everything. And we're like, oh, what's he doing? And they finally get inside the house, and it comes to turn out that he goes out. There's like a secret tunnel to the other backyard or something like that. And he gets into the van or the limousine with Lady Raven and starts crying.
Yes. Yes,
he starts talking to her.
She
notices and freaks out and tries to get out of the car, but people are like, "Oh my god, that's Lady Raven!" And then he somehow gets out of the car.
Oh my god, this movie is so terrible. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I completely forgot that happens. Yeah, so he uses like an underminer, like the underminer / El Chapo tunnel, to somehow escape into the other thing, somehow is able to incapacitate the driver of the fucking limousine, and then does that classic bait and switch where, you get into the car and it's actually like the killer or the person you're running from is the driver. Yeah, and that...
Yeah, see here, I thought she was that 100%, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, but it's like, yeah, she's like, let me show my face, and then she gets like the Beatles treatment, which honestly, this part I don't disbelieve. So the cops are closing in the vehicle and he gets out, and then he just kind of disappears in the crowd. I could totally see that because I feel like he didn't put on that dude, like that, all of that guy's clothes. He probably just put on like the blazer and the driver's hat if he even had one on. So I imagine like all he had to do was take off his jacket, take off the hat, and disappear. So that was pretty cool. But all around, this movie was dog shit. There was absolutely zero murder involved. There's no mystery. You knew who the killer was the whole time. They're like, what's...
That's the gimmick. That's the thing of the movie. It's what he said within like the trailer. We know that he's the murderer.
I know, but like, is the like
that's not something you can talk about. That's like the whole premise of the movie.
So hear me out for a minute. If M. Night Shyamalan's like thing, like this is his thing, is adding a twist. Every movie has a twist. Is the twist of this movie that there's no twist?
I guess he is known for his twist, but I really can't think when it comes to like a twist of this movie.
No, I think the twist of the movie is
just like fake outs. I guess like him just like continually surviving and like getting away, basically.
I think the twist of the movie is that it's actually just a commercial. The audience is the one who got twisted. You thought you were going to go see a movie, but you went to go see a music video, and he got you. He got the seventh sense, like he did it to you. I don't know. Nah, man. Okay, so I guess we can go into segments unless you have any final thoughts regarding the conclusion of this film.
No, I guess we can talk about like the scene where the mother comes back into the house, and I really thought that she was gone. Also, like we see, does he like take off his clothes? It's really weird because I'm like, is is he about to like R word this person like his wife? I'm like, why is he getting naked? Like it's like, what is going on?
I think it was just a strange moment of tension building.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I was kind of freaked out, but and they were just talking, and then we finally get how they knew he was gonna get the concert because didn't like she have some type of doubts like with the late nights and all that.
Yes,
And
yeah.
she left a Lady Raven ticket at the at one
Oh
of the safe
my
houses.
god, bro, you're totally right. That's another thing. It's like, yeah, so we find out that was the twist. Never mind, you're right. There was a dog shit M. Night Shyamalan twist.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, the twist is that the wife was the one who sold him out to the cops. It wasn't like some random coincidence. She discovered that he was the killer somehow. Yeah, okay, that's enough. So I guess we'll go, before we go into criticisms, which will take 45 minutes on its own for me, I guess we can go into what your favorite individual scenes were, like moments you really found interesting or like kind of unique. I'll let you go first.
I'm just saying, it just his interactions with people that he did not like, that they did not know that he was the killer. Like, I want to see more. I want to see him be a firefighter saving people's lives, but also being this dark individual that has to kill people. Like,
That would be a much more interesting movie. You just, within 2 seconds, you just wrote a better movie than this. If he was like a hospital worker or like a firefighter and he saved lives, but because he needs to do some weird karma balancing, he kills the equal amount of people he saved.
mm,
Yeah, that's a substantially better of a
I guess
movie.
I just did. My bad.
Yeah, so thank you for proving it. Any other little positive things you really enjoyed?
Um, if they set this up for another movie, I'm eating it. I'm eating it. This movie cost 30 million. That was the budget, and it made 76. So it's a box office success. It's not a smash, but that sequel, it might be looming in the back. I need some more Josh Hartnett.
Sorry, I was just considering the
Jesse
possibility of a trap too, and I think that the trap is going to be on all of us as the audience if we once again pay $70 million for this guy to just finesse us and take our money. He's a scam artist at work. I'm just kidding. Like, obviously that's excessive.
Is a scam artist.
No, I'm being facetious, but it's just I'm just tired, bro. I'm exhausted. Okay, so I'll go into some of the things that I enjoyed about the movie that are far and few between, other way around. So I really enjoyed the idea of her fans being able to guess the location of the victim based on the geographical location, because that's like totally a thing Twitch streamers do all the time.
For sure.
Yeah, they'll like go outside and then like some, like, 4 fans will be like, "Is that the statue that's missing the left ear? That only occurs in Rome, in West Italy."
Yeah, like they doxed them, man. They know exactly where you are just off of one thing they can see.
Yeah, so they'll be like, "Is that an original Scatidulus monaphum? That tree only grows on the west side of Middle Asia." And they're like, "Where's Middle Asia at?" It's actually a small town in Indiana. And it's like they figured it out. He's actually under the library in an Indiana museum or something. So I thought that was really cool. I did find that to be super interesting. The vendor's performance was pretty great. The idea of like him being easily manipulated, and then I liked the psychologist's voice. But that's pretty much like the end all be all of this movie's enjoyment for me. So let's move on to my favorite part: criticisms and why this movie is not good.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Yay! It was really weird because we get the knowledge that this person Cooper has a problem with his mother, and this is what probably made, I don't even know if it made him like this or just gives him his general thoughts or how he thinks. And we get the weird scene at the end where he thinks he sees his mom and saying like he's sorry, and I don't know if that really hit for me. Like that's probably the only criticism, not like criticism but major criticism about the movie. Yeah.
No, that's fair.
How do you feel about that?
Terrible, obviously. So that specific point is actually it's a very good thing you referenced it. So they're saying that the only weapon that Lady Raven can use against this guy is by basically making him think that she's her mother in like this weird psychological fashion, which, by the way, is not referenced at any other point in the movie. There's no like indication or Chekhov's gun for this like behavioral glitch that he has. So I just think
they do say that like I don't know, like they do say that he has a problem with his mother. I think that's the only thing they mentioned.
Yeah, the psychologist does it, but it would have been like a lot more interesting if like Riley, his daughter, or somebody brought up his mom or something. He started tweaking a little bit. Like I'd be like, oh, okay. So when that happens later, like you could see it coming. Yeah, so time to go down the long list. So first of all, who the fuck orchestrated this complete waste of police resources? Like the amount of money and time that they spent on this. So you're telling me, first off, from the beginning of this plan is ridiculous. So
it is ridiculous. Yeah.
So the wife finds this receipt, okay, and presumably anonymously informs the police that the butcher, a known serial killer, has left this receipt. The police do no follow-up investigation, right? So someone just calls and says, I found this receipt, like in the killer's whatever. We have found previously no physical evidence from this killer, so we just believe that immediately. We send like SWAT, like regular law enforcement, like probably the FBI, to surround the entire fucking concert and to immediately notify the killer that he's surrounded. You've got absolutely no chance of catching this guy. So they randomly like look for people with this like psychological profile, like white male, early 30s, but conventionally handsome, whatever. So they're just stopping random people, and then every single fucking person that exits gets checked and validated. Think about this for a second.
Oh, the tattoo as well. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, there's some random tattoo but listen, man. When you're like anyone who's ever left a concert before, it's like everyone's exiting in droves. One time I went to a concert and I'm pretty sure I walked through a metal detector that wasn't plugged in. So there's like I don't believe that the security for this is actually going to work out, because there's too many people. All of these people are real humans. So after one officer checks like 9 white dudes, he's going to like turn off his brain. Right. So I'm just like, this is an absurdity. Also, if the psychologist knows he's smart enough to recognize the plan should have been to create a diversion that he thinks he can outsmart, and then they know what he's going to do. Right. So if the fake plan
is to false information or something like that.
If the fake plan is to surround the building, right? So you surround the building, and then you have a bunch of guys at like the secret exit / like Lady Raven's motorcade, because you know he's gonna try to find an alternative means of exiting. You know what I mean? Like or it's 2024, guys. We have cyber threat actor deterrence. Just use like your technology to figure out who bought the ticket for every single person, whose name it's registered as, because he would have had to like use his real name, right? I don't know, I guess that's doing too much, but just the idea of this plan to catch this killer is ludicrous. Like Lady Raven solved the case using an Instagram live. That's all. Like I don't know what to say. So what else? So obviously the movie is an entire concert. Hated that. Hated the fact that like all of the actors in this movie didn't have personality or character outside of the vendor, Cooper, and Lady Raven. Everyone else is just like a standard archetype. Like his wife is wife. His daughter plays a daughter. Like no one has like
I thought daughter was fine. What do you mean?
No,
like,
I'm
she
saying
didn't play like bad or worse. I think she just played that.
No, her performance is fine, but that's what I'm saying. Like there's no depth to any other character in the movie.
What would you rather her have been?
I don't know if like the daughter had some like outside struggles, or like, you know, just like some.
We don't need to know all of that.
I just say like some form of character development. You know, like movies are like this. Movie's an hour and 45 minutes. It has room to develop a couple more.
Oh no, we have the friend. That's her character development. Like she has a friend who's also at the concert, and they're beefing right now.
You're right. That's a good. Okay, you got me. You forgot about that, but you know the movie's so bad, I forgot about that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So outside of that, so yeah, continuing on. So the plan to escape with like Lady Raven's limousine. Okay, cool. The police fucking suck. So that way he's got it. He's escaped. The fact that he doesn't murder her is like insane to me. Like I know he doesn't want to oust himself in front of his family, but like this guy has just escaped all of law enforcement combined. You're telling me he can't figure out a way to kill a 16-year-old or get her out of the house? You know what I mean? Like, like honestly, he could have like pulled a fast one and like just like, I don't know, like fake thrown up or something and been like, I'm sick, you know, like, yeah, unfortunately she's gonna have to leave. Or like, oh shit, I forgot my keys at the concert. Like something like completely valid as a reason for him to get out of that situation. I just feel like nothing in this movie made sense when it comes to the progression of the plot. He did like. There's no reason for the plot to move forward other than the fact that he gets caught. But by this point, it already seems like he gets caught. Also, if the wife knows it's her husband who's the killer, why did she anonymously report the fucking ticket at the concert instead of her reporting him?
He doesn't know. She just had a doubt, and she was scared, and then she just did it to make sure, and it just so happened to be true. So it's not like she knew.
Right. So my significant other is killing people. Ring, ring, ring. Hello, police. Yeah. So.
Jesse, she does not know that.
Right. No, but that's the suspicion, right? So it's like, okay, so here's the thing. I think that I found this receipt that might be the killer's. Ma'am, who do you think the killer might be? Potentially my significant other. Can y'all just investigate him real quick? You know, do a little surveillance?
What? She leaves the ticket at one of the sites. That's what the whole thing is. Because I think she looks at her like maybe his location or something like that and figures out and just goes there and leaves a ticket because she just doesn't. She has a doubt in her mind that something's wrong.
Yeah, so she goes to the crime scene. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So she went to the crime scene where a known crime was committed that she knew her husband I don't know. But yeah, like none of the decision making makes sense for the characters and law enforcement.
That was probably the weakest plot point.
I think the whole thing is a weak plot point. But so now that I've got that off my chest, I guess we can go to most chilling scene. We're gonna have to skip death scene considering no one died in this horror movie.
See, I wish I would remember him going crazy. I swear someone died, but maybe not. I thought he killed somebody.
I don't recall anyone getting murdered. But what was the scene that made you feel the most amount of fear in your chest? I can go first if you want.
Chest. Dang, you can go first, please. What kind of thing? I
think the two scenes that scared me the most is maybe when like Lady Raven's at the piano / when she's locked in the bathroom, because by this point I think he's crashing out and he's ready to just like throw it all to the wind. The other scene is when he's initially talking to the vendor downstairs and it's just them two, because I'm like, oh, this is a good opportunity for him to just like murder somebody in cold blood.
See, I would probably say it's kind of hard to pinpoint one, but just those times where he gets told something that he really does not want to hear, and obviously doesn't have like a reaction he wants, but you know he is freaking out in his head, but he has that, like I said, that stone cold face. That happens a lot during the concert, especially.
Yeah.
That was a lot of tension, I would say, because he'd just be smiling, being like, "Yeah, so okay, Riley." God, it's like two faces.
Josh Hartnett deserves like at least 15 of the $30 million budget.
Actually, I wonder how much he got paid.
Oh yeah, we can look that up in a second. Okay, so last new segment that I've added, the Graves mistake. I don't know why we've never thought of this before. So for this segment, it's gonna be like in this sense of the words, it'll be a mistake, like an actual mistake, rather than like a mistake, like a bad opinion. You see what I did there? Mm-hmm. It's a double reverse. So what's like the worst decision that a character made that led to either their demise or negative outcome? I know it's hard.
Worst decision being made.
Yes.
I mean, it's probably easiest to go with something that he did, the main character did, but I'm trying to think. He kind of played it all well, as long as he could, basically.
Yeah. I'm going to go with...
okay, I have one, actually.
Oh, here we
go. The cops letting him pick up this bike for some reason at the end.
Oh.
You know?
No.
They're walking him out, and they let him pick up this bike, this known serial killer who's an absolute beast. Like, this guy's also like 6'2", 6'4". Like, this guy's huge.
Right.
He's a firefighter. I don't know, man.
No, that's good. I think I think it's gonna be the wife's decision to report a serial killer probably led to like the death of significant more people. Her entire family was upended, and her daughter is most likely gonna need thousands of dollars in therapy. Actually, the wife is the villain of this movie. She might be the most hated character. Oh my god,
the wife is not the boat, bro. All these problems that you listing are because he is a serial killer. I know the way she went about it is definitely the worst way to do it.
No, I blame Rachel. No, I'm kidding. I blame Rachel for the murders. It's her fault. Okay. I think I'm I think I'm about to throw up thinking about this movie any longer. So we can go to the final segment, which would be what would a sequel look like for this movie?
A sequel will look like I don't know. Are there any movies that you can think of where the guy just keeps getting away? That's what I think the whole
every slasher movie ever.
The Trap multiverse is
Holy
going to
shit.
be
Okay.
him getting away.
The Trap multiverse. We're being so serious right now. Okay. So what does that look like? I need more detail. So what is Avengers
Like
Endgame
I'm
of
saying,
Trap
like
look
they're
like?
gonna up the ante now because obviously he's getting away. He got that bike spoke. I don't know what he's gonna do with that bike spoke, but
Right.
he's definitely getting out of that truck.
He's gonna handle business.
And I think we're going statewide, nationwide, and then we're going global.
Oh, so we're going like Night Stalker style murder, but it's on a global scale.
Yes.
So he's like Hannibal Lecter. He just can't be caught.
He's having a friend for dinner.
A friend for that's funny. So I think that sounds terrible. Oh my god! Like that's actually my worst nightmare. Like that's my sleep paralysis demon is Josh Hartnett in a sequel.
Honestly, this movie it just made me want Josh Hartnett in more movies.
Actually, I can't disagree. He did eat with that. Okay, so I think a more realistic sequel, going along the lines of bad writing and terrible conclusions, I think would be so Cooper obviously escapes. I think it's a revenge. It's a revenge style movie trying to kill Lady Raven.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I think she's on tour, like global tour, and she travels from place to place. And
so it fits into my multiverse, like I said, the global scale.
yes,
So
for some reason you've
in,
infected my brain with this idea.
Exactly.
But here's the thing: he doesn't kill specific victims. He's killing people in pursuit of Lady Raven. So
this is even more Hannibal Lecter. It wasn't like the guy he tries to kill at the end, like somebody who did him wrong in the past and tries to like put him up, and then he's like, "Oh, now I'm getting revenge."
Oh, you're talking about the second movie? No, that's one of his victims that survived and that tried to kill him. So he just kills him by coincidence, trying to save Clarice.
No, I'm talking about Silence of the Lambs, like the guy he said he's gonna have for dinner. That like at the very end of the movie, it's like some prosecutor or something that put him up.
I think so, but I think he
It's definitely revenge, man. It has to be revenge.
No, it is revenge, but this is a different revenge thing. Like that's just like a classic like bad boy style revenge scheme. This one is like he's chasing her around the world. You know, it follows
around the world.
How the creature's like it follows you at like regular pace for eternity. So I'm thinking Lady Raven goes on tour, but every time she goes on tour, he's like following her, and like he's killing bodyguards, he's killing workers, he's killing random people, just anything he can do to get close to Lady Raven.
He's going on tour with her.
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
Right, and the narrative is that like Lady Raven's like she's getting pursued by a serial killer.
Oh yeah, she's not trapped now. She's trapped.
And
then we get more music
to
promote her.
Yeah, no, this is insane. But I guess of course this is the terrible decision making involved. My first question would be, why are they not setting up better traps or better security for Lady Raven at these concerts? But obviously there would be some cool scenes where he tries to kill her at the restaurant, he tries to kill her at the club. It's like the Terminator, but like on tour. And then another thing would be like, well, why doesn't she just stop doing tours? Because the movie's terrible, that's why. So she's going to continue to do tours and selfishly make millions of dollars while everybody's dying around her.
I was going to say, is the sequel a sequel if there's no concert?
No, there has to be a concert. It's the final act. The final act of the movie.
It has to be a concert because his daughter has to get more songs.
Yeah, oh my God, please. No, yeah. So no. I got you. Ready? So the final scene of the sequel that's never going to happen because like I'm going to pray it doesn't. Is that so he actually ends up showing up early before the concert starts, like a day early. And they have the set up and they built like the arena, but like no one's allowed in. Yeah, so he's in there. Well, she's doing rehearsal, and so he has to kill like 4 backup dancers in like the EMT or something, and then it's him against her. Final battle on the final stage, on like the last stage, and she has like
on the last stage,
and then she has like a prop weapon, but for some reason the prop guys made it real, so she's got like a literal like scythe. It's just a real scythe, And he comes out on stage. He's wearing like a Lady Raven like dream girl uniform, and then we have like
shirt.
we have like a mixed martial arts battle to the death.
Okay. I think you got it, Jesse. I think that's 10 out of 10. Right
yeah,
there.
what a dog shit experience. Okay, so what would you give the movie out of 10 after our deep conversation?
I liked it. It definitely has a lot of plot points, but I thought it was a fun movie. I thought it was a breath of fresh air, honestly.
Okay.
I'll give it a 7 straight up.
A 7 straight up? Okay.
I'll give it. It's hard for me to think 6.5. Because I really did like the movie.
Okay, well, you know what? Go with your heart.
Yeah, I'll go with 7. Yeah, I would watch this again.
Okay, so I think I will lock in a 4 out of 10, because I won't rewatch this movie again voluntarily. And you know what? That's too aggressive. I feel like 4 is no 4. I'm gonna stand on business. I'll go 4.5. I did enjoy the movie's comedy elements, but it was not presented as a comedy, nor was like the setting created to be like a comedy setting. I was just not vibing with that. So 4.5 out of 10 on the scale. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for watching and listening in this case. Don't forget to tune in next week. We'll be covering Beetlejuice, starring Michael Keaton, a horror movie I feel is not for kids.